Okay, so the next thing we need to look at is water conservation. So this is us using water more conservatively, so using different strategies to reduce how much we need and therefore how much we need to extract. So the first one is low volume uses. Okay, so this is looking at reducing the amount of water needed to carry out a particular task. So we can have low volume appliances, things like dishwashers, washing machines, flush for toilets. So like you have those dual flush. You have low flow shower heads. And you might have tap timers, especially in sort of public toilets or something like that. So instead of turning it on and off, it sort of slowly turns itself off over time. The other one you can have is xeriscaping. So this means managing green spaces, like public green spaces, to reduce irrigation needs. Typically, this would mean using sort of arid or dry adapted species that need less water to survive. So you need less watering, so you need less irrigation. So this is typically things like grasses, and you might include things like stones or gravel. So ground coverage that is permeable but doesn't actually need watering. And by grasses, I don't mean like just lawn, I mean specific sort of more marram grass type examples. And then you have low volume irrigation. So inefficient watering types might be or irrigation types might be something like spray irrigation. So the water is sort of almost like precipitated down, so sprayed down onto it. Water will get intercepted by the plant itself, reach the surface of the water of the soil. Some of it will infiltrate, but what we find is we have massive losses to evaporation because a lot of it doesn't, and a lot of it doesn't reach the roots, which is where we want it. So if we have efficient irrigation, something like drip irrigation, we are going to have our same plant, and it's got its roots here, but what we will do is we will run a pipe along the surface of the ground, and we will have just very small, almost like pinprick sized apertures in it, which drip water continuously, which results in a saturated zone directly around the root. So it's applied directly to base of plant, and this means that we have much less evaporation, and most reaches roots. So drip irrigation takes a little bit more infrastructure and effort and cost to set up, so it's slightly more expensive typically, but is much more efficient form of irrigation. So next one then, recycling used water. So this might mean using what we call grey water, which is water from baths or showers for water uses that doesn't really need potable drinking water, quality water. So we use it for flushing toilets or for irrigation of gardens. And so this means that it's quite clean water. It doesn't have pathogens or heavy metals. It might have a bit of soap in. And if you choose the correct soaps, then it makes it even more useful. Pollution control then is really important because it prevents water from being contaminated. Which would then mean it cannot be used if it's contaminated. Cannot be reused, and it's more expensive to treat. So some of these things might be oil pollution control, sewage treatment, control of acid mine drainage, control of heavy metal waste, landfill, leachate treatment, and things like nitrate vulnerable zones or buffer strips to prevent fertilizer leaching or runoff. And all of these can be promoted by using things like laws or legislation that requires companies or individuals to treat waste products appropriately before disposal. And that's something we'll look at more in a later chapter. And the last one then is reduced wastage. So a lot of infrastructure for moving potable water is old or poor condition. So about 20% of potable water, which means drinking water, is lost to leaks and also leaking appliances. in sort of domestic or industrial usage. So what we need to do is have repair and preventative maintenance. To reduce it, and the other thing we can do is get people to pay, have metered water, which means you pay for the amount used, and this acts as an incentive to reduce usage, because then it will save you money. And lots of countries are starting to use this more and more.